Rapper Tory Lanez has been found guilty of shooting hip-hop star Megan Thee Stallion.
Rapper Tory Lanez has been sentenced to 10 years in prison for shooting Grammy winner Megan Thee Stallion in 2020.
It's been 3 long years since the tragic incident that turned Megan Thee Stallion's life upside down and put that of Canadian rapper Tory Lanez in jeopardy. The jury found him guilty of all his charges and is now facing a decade in prison. The 3-year trial has been filled with drama as fans also picked sides. 10 years in prison is not a short time. Is this the end of Tory's rap career? Is this goodbye forever? The trial.
Yes, this Tory shot me.
That video resulted in the drama that has now led to the incarceration of Canadian rapper Tory Lanez. Just a few before going live, Megan had posted a cryptic message on Twitter saying, "Lie one more time and I'ma quit sparing you." On July 12, 2020, Daystar Peterson, alias Tory Lanez, was arrested on a charge of carrying a concealed weapon in a vehicle. However, as things would later pan out, he was neck deep in trouble. That night, fellow rapper Megan Jovan Ruth Pete, alias Megan Thee Stallion, had a foot injury from which she was bleeding. She was taken by ambulance to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center for treatment. Interestingly, reports showed that Megan's foot injuries had been caused by broken glass. According to the cops, they were responding to reported gunshots at a Hollywood Hills residence. According to them, Megan Thee Stallion's foot seemed to have been cut by broken glass in the SUV when they found the vehicle. An LAPD report even surfaced online that mentioned Dr. Lafredo, who attended to Megan that night, treated the rapper for a laceration caused by glass. The report allegedly confirmed that x-rays of the supposed gunshot wound showed no bullet pieces were recovered or extracted from the rapper's injured foot. Staff at the hospital also noted that Megan was asked repeatedly about her injuries, but she stated that she never heard a gunshot and initially did not even believe that there were bullets present. According to Megan, doctors didn't disclose to her that she had bullets in both of her feet until police had already left the hospital grounds. At this point, she was informed about the possibility of undergoing surgery and was forced to come clean on the incident that had occurred earlier. After the surgery, 3 bullet fragments were recovered. Apart from that, the same report does show that the 2 officers at the scene, Officer Diaz and Officer Olivia, found a yellow pendant, a nail, and spent casings from the crime scene. So even as Tory maintained throughout the trial that he did not shoot Megan, one thing was certain: a gun had been fired that night. But if Tory had not discharged the firearm, who did? This was one of the many insane moments surrounding this trial. According to Megan, she told police that she thought she stepped on glass to cover for Tory Lanez. It is important to remember that the shooting incident took place in the summer of 2020. During this period, the country was engulfed in violent protests due to cases of police brutality. In particular, protests ravaged the country in reaction to the murder of George Floyd and assaults on other black people who were injured at the hands of cops. According to Megan Thee Stallion, when helicopters and police cars descended upon the scene, she downplayed her injuries out of fear of law enforcement. She did not want any of her friends to get hurt by cops. "I didn't want them to kill any of us or shoot any of us. So I just said I stepped on glass," she said. "For some reason, I was just trying to protect all of us because I didn't want them to kill us. Even though this person just did this to me, my first reaction still was to try to save us. I didn't want to see anybody die." In the interview on CBS Mornings, the rapper said, "The police are definitely very much shoot first, ask questions after. So I'm like, it's a hot gun in the car. I'm bleeding. I've been shot. They're about to kill somebody." In the interview, which was conducted months after the incident, Megan revealed that her feet still hurt from the tragic event. "I couldn't walk for a while," she said. "I still have nerve damage. I can't really feel the side of my left foot. The back of my feet are always sore, but I just pushed through it." However, a few months earlier, she had been filmed in a dancing studio shaking her booty. According to a section of fans, this was just another lie in the long list she had told to have Tory jailed. Apart from the drama and what fans termed as inconsistencies with Megan's story, there was more disturbing news brewing behind the scenes, and it finally found itself on blogs and media outlets. Rap legend Jay-Z found himself in the midst of the case.
2 days after that, I get a call from Roc Nation that says, "Yo, we heard you're gonna make a statement about what happened, and it'd be in your best interest if you don't make that statement."
Roc Nation is an entertainment agency that was founded in 2008 and is owned by Jay-Z. In September 2019, Megan Thee Stallion signed a management deal with the entertainment agency. With Megan being signed to Roc Nation, they had a considerable stake in her public image. According to Tory, things went south after he was told not to comment on the situation. At first, the official story was that Megan had been cut by a broken glass.
Nobody has ever said she got shot, not TMZ, not the police report at this point.
Soon, video footage of the incident surfaced, and it all went downhill for Tory afterwards.
Soon as she sees herself on video with the bikini and the things like that, and it looks bad, she then comes out and says, "Yo, the narrative of me getting cut by glass, it's just not true. I was shot in my feet with the intention to harm me and put harm and danger upon me.
There was wide speculation that strings were being pulled by powerful people to have Tory locked up. According to the Canadian rapper, after he was silenced by Roc Nation, the narrative about him shooting Megan began picking up steam. This theory became even more mainstream after he was found guilty of all his charges. The rapper's parents were having none of it. Reports from inside the courtroom after Tory was found guilty described the scene as his father and stepmother screamed about injustice. The scenes outside the courtroom were not any better. Tory Lanez's father, Sunstar Peterson, had a lot he wanted to get out of his chest.
I just stood here in this Los Angeles County and witnessed the worst miscarriage of justice that this world has ever seen. I got some names that I want to call. Alex Spiro, Desiree Perez, and the whole wicked system of Roc Nation, including you, Jay-Z.
The shooting incident.
Rapper Tory Lanez has been charged with shooting artist Megan Thee Stallion during an argument.
Before we get to the tragic shooting incident, it is important to start from the very beginning, as it will help explain the relationship between Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez. Ultimately, their relationship has everything to do with why the event happened in the first place. Tory Lanez was born on July 27, 1992, in Brampton, Ontario. He started singing at a very young age after his grandma kicked him out when he was just 15 years old. At the time, he called himself notorious. In 2009, when Tory was 17, he released his debut mixtape. At the time, he was living in South Florida and had begun directing some of his music videos and posting them on his YouTube channel. Well, as luck would have it, he was soon noticed by a megastar, Sean Kingston. In 2010, Kingston contacted Lanez, telling him to meet up with him, which would prove to be a life-changing moment. The two met during Justin Bieber's tour, and Tory was even allowed to perform live. It would not take long for the rapper to sign a record deal with Kingston's Time Is Money Entertainment, where he released 3 mixtapes. However, all good things come to an end. His time at Time Is Money Entertainment came to a close in 2011 as he left the label to be an independent artist. He continued making music independently till 2015, where he signed to Benny Blanco's Mad Love Records and Interscope Records. He continued making a name for himself until 2020, where he became an independent artist again. It was in 2020 that the world really came to know about Tory Lanez. This was also the year that the pandemic hit, and around March, people went into lockdown and quarantine. Rappers could not perform as large gatherings were illegal in most places. And with everyone bored at home, Tory came up with a genius way to make sure that he had people talking and thinking about him at all times. He started his Instagram live sessions called Quarantine Radio. Quarantine Radio innocently started as a way to catch the wave where artists would put out their songs against fellow artists to see who had the best catalog. One of the most prolific battles for Tory was against fellow rapper French Montana. Even his old buddy Justin Bieber would hop onto one of Tory's lives, making the sessions even more popular. However, Quarantine Radio's format would soon change, becoming even more entertaining and attracting larger audiences. The rapper had found the secret ingredient for his Quarantine Radio: girls twerking. The new version of Quarantine Radio became so popular that Tory's page was temporarily suspended. Tory and his followers retaliated with Free Tory hashtag, which trended and forced Instagram's CEO to respond, claiming that the suspension was due to nudity during the lives. Quarantine Radio is great, so first, shout out to Tory Lanez on that. Quarantine Radio is not banned, Adam Mosseri clarified. The lives have been great, the lives with the fans have been great, but you can't have nudity. That's part of our community guidelines, part of our community rules, and we can't make exceptions. Quarantine Radio would even go ahead and break the record for the most Instagram live viewers when Tory and Drake went live and had over 310,000 viewers. It was not long before the Canadian rapper had celebrities twerking on Quarantine Radio. This was none other than Megan Thee Stallion. Soon enough, Tory took Quarantine Radio on the road, and the first guest was the one and only Megan, where the two drank and seemed cozy with each other. It was not long after that the blog started rumors of the two dating. Shortly after the rumors started, the tragic incident happened. According to reports, Kylie Jenner had invited Tory, Megan, and her best friend at the time, Kelsey Harris, to a pool party on July 11, 2020. Rumor has it that Tory may have been sleeping with Kelsey. In an Instagram live, Megan and Kylie were interrupted by Tory, with Megan not being impressed by him. More rumors started, spreading that Tory may have been flirting with Kylie a bit too much during the party, which did not go down well with Megan, something he even addressed in his song Queen and Slim, where he sings, "Hop step, went to the car, me and Kylie still off in the pool, we just chillin', kicking was cool. Both of us didn't know you was tripping. Even though I got a crush on Kylie, I would have left with you if I knew you was dipping, for the simple reason you invited me. But I can't act like shawty didn't excite me. I had took a wrong turn that night, but not the turn that everybody think I wasn't the wrong one that night. You was just too drunk to even see it." According to Tory, Megan was pissed and had gone to sit in the car while Kylie and Tory continued flirting in the pool. There are several theories of what happened next, leading to the shots being fired. One of the theories was that Megan had ended their relationship, which led to Tory getting mad and letting off shots. The other was that Megan had become physical with Tory, which escalated to shots being fired. We may never know what really happened. However, Megan does have a history of assaulting men after mugshots of her surfaced in early 2020, where she had assaulted her then boyfriend. Megan denied having ever assaulted Tory that night.
I never put my hands on anybody.
In an Instagram live, Megan claimed that she was in Tory's car with him, his bodyguard, and Kelsey, and that the four were arguing. According to her, the argument ensued because she wanted to leave and everyone else wanted to stay.
There was an argument in the car?
It was an argument because I was ready to go and everybody else wasn't ready to go.
Megan, who was in the front seat, left the car. She alleged that Tory shouted at her, telling her to dance before shooting at her through the car's back window.
I hear this man screaming. He said, dance. And he started shooting.
He then apologized and offered her and Kelsey Harris $1 million for them to keep quiet about what had happened because he was on probation. Since she was wearing a bikini, she agreed to get back into the car with them. However, people in the neighborhood had already called the cops after hearing shots being fired and an SUV driving off. The vehicle was stopped and everyone was ordered out, leading to the infamous video of Megan limping with her foot bleeding. Other rappers' reactions. Tory and Megan never saw eye to eye after that incident. They ended up addressing the incident on their social media pages. They both took to Instagram on different days to clear the air on some of the issues surrounding the case. It seemed as if both rappers wanted to get ahead of the narrative and prove that they were right while the other side was wrong. Megan accused Tory of shooting her on her live, while the Canadian rapper denied the allegations and shifted blame to Roc Nation on his. However, the two would take the drama a notch higher. Megan gave an interview to CBS where she gave an emotional retelling of the events that took place that morning. Let's just say that the court of public opinion was divided. However, it was clear to see that a large portion of fans leaned towards not believing her account of events. The ratio of likes to dislikes on the interview that was posted to YouTube said it all. The comment section was also divided on the issue. According to some fans, she was not being entirely truthful and seemed to be leaving out some details to protect her image. I don't know if I believe her. She's definitely leaving something out to protect herself or image, one fan said. Other fans thought that it was all an act and that she was acting and trying to cry. Her story don't add up. She trying to force herself to cry and can't, said another. However, some fans sympathized with her, believed her story, and stood by her. This was the case even among people in the industry, as they were also divided on who was telling the truth and who was taking everyone for a ride. One of the celebrities who was certain Megan was telling the truth was singer JoJo. She took to Twitter to show her support for Megan, saying, "Love, respect, and peace and protection to these stallions." The singer also took a strong stance on violence against women by choosing to remove Tory from her upcoming project. JoJo collaborated with Lanez and 30 Roc for the track Comeback on her album Good to Know. The original standard version of the project was released in May 2020, but JoJo told a fan that Tory would not feature in the upcoming deluxe version. While speaking to the press, JoJo said that it felt like the right and necessary thing to do out of respect and love for Meg. Another artist who was convinced that Tory was guilty is singer Kalani. She announced that Tory's verse on the track Can I would be replaced on her It Was Good Until It Wasn't deluxe album. She also shared a music video for the song that leaves him out of the visual. She took to Twitter to announce her action, saying, "Full transparency, cause I believe in that with my following, his verse is still on the song. The video is solo. New verse on the deluxe." In a new interview with Chicago radio station WGCI, she explained that she was not going to be associated with someone who makes women feel unsafe. As someone with a large platform, as someone that people look up to, as a woman that makes other women feel safe and empowered, people were asking me, are you going to keep somebody on it who doesn't necessarily make us feel safe or empowered as a woman? She also explained that Megan was her friend and that she could not let business get in the way of her friendship. This situation was involving someone that I am extremely close to, so I just felt like on some loyal and on some do the right thing, you have to be responsible. Absolutely, I'm changing up the record, she said. It was business and it was also loyalty to a situation. This is not an industry friendship. That's really my friend and someone I say I love you to. Soulja Boy took to his Instagram to also show his support for Megan Thee Stallion. The rapper bashed Tory and called other rappers out for not sticking up for Megan. Y'all shooting bitches out here now and ain't nobody saying nothing, he said. I'm the only in the whole rap game that's gonna say something. Okay, cool. Well, fuck you, Tory Lanez. Some artists had first supported Tory, but as more evidence was revealed, they quickly changed their allegiances. 50 Cent was one such artist. The rapper mocked both parties by sharing some memes on his Instagram account. One meme features Megan and Tory's heads photoshopped on the characters from the 1991 classic film Boys in the Hood, from the iconic scene where Ricky was viciously gunned down. In the caption with the photo, he wrote, "Run Ricky run. What the f*** is really going on?" He quickly followed it up with one taunting Lanez, photoshopping the Canadian rapper's head on Mini-Me from the Austin Powers franchise. franchise. Tory was like, "Bitch, quit playing with my pimpin', I'm not for the games, LOL," he captioned the post. The memes didn't sit well with Megan's producer, Lil Ju, who went ahead to clap back at 50 Cent saying, "This probably how you was running in May 2000. Lil Ju was referring to the 2000 shooting in which 50 was shot 9 times in Queens, New York. Megan Thee Stallion took to Twitter and made it very clear that she did not like the jokes about her traumatic situation and pointing out the failure to protect black women as more memes like 50 Cent's kept popping up on the internet. Black women are so unprotected and we hold so many things in to protect the feelings of others without considering our own," she said. "It might be funny to y'all on the internet and just another messy topic for you to talk about, but this is my real life and I'm real life hurt and traumatized." The legendary rapper was forced to apologize for his memes after more evidence came out incriminating Tory.
"I'm gonna apologize to Megan Thee Stallion."
According to 50, he thought that Megan was lying at first, but after Tory's infamous jail phone call, where the rapper seems to admit his mistake was leaked, he changed his allegiances. Iggy Azalea also came to Tory's defense. According to reports, 76 letters of recommendation were sent to the judge ahead of Tory's sentencing. In the letter, she wrote, "I deeply appreciate the person he is and have never witnessed him lose his temper or raise his voice at a woman. He's always been incredibly respectful of me, and I refuse to believe that he would do anything in malice, especially to a woman." She also asked the judge to give a reasonable punishment that would not destroy Tory's life. Fans were on her neck for this, forcing her to defend herself on Twitter. She made it clear that she was not on anyone's side, nor did she intend for the letter to go public. Drake was less apologetic and gave his thoughts on his track Her Loss, where he raps, "This bitch lie about getting shots, but she's still a stallion." Megan was not amused as she took to Twitter to blast Drake, saying, "Stop using my shooting for clout, niggas. Since when the f is it cool to joke about ABT women getting shot? You niggas, especially rap niggas, are lame. Ready to boycott about shoes and clothes, but dogpile on a black woman when she say one of y'all homeboys abused her." Bad news already. As the case ends and Tory prepares to start his 10-year stint behind bars, it seems things are already bad for the rapper in jail. 8 months of suffering and misfortune in prison prompted him to send a disturbing, shocking, and depressing message to the court through attorney Rhonda Dixon. Interestingly, Rhonda Dixon is not even Tory's lawyer. As it turns out, Dixon had a client housed in the same jail as Tory and had asked her to meet with the rapper. Tory wanted to explain what was going on with the sentencing. After meeting the rapper, Mrs. Dixon filed a motion to get Tory out of jail, and she said he was depressed because of the sorry state that the Canadian rapper was in. According to the lawyer, Tory's eyes were black and he was totally despondent. Even more shocking was that the rapper wanted to be taken to state prison. Why is this shocking, you may ask? Well, state prison is not really a holiday resort. In fact, it is much worse than federal prison, where Tory was being housed at the time. Federal prisons are generally safer than state prisons, and they keep inmates that are of a less violent and dangerous nature. State prisons are not safe even for famous rappers, as we came to see earlier this year. One of the most recent security incidents involved Money Sign Suede, a 22-year-old rapper. Jamie Brugada Valdez, also known as Money Sign Suede, was an emerging Mexican-American rapper who died tragically in a California state prison shower in April 2023. According to prison officials, he was discovered with injuries consistent with a homicide, including a stab wound to the neck. During a standardized prison count, it was soon found out that the rapper could not be found in his cell. The prison guards responded immediately and went on the search for Money Sign Suede. During a search, he was found unresponsive in the shower. The rapper was serving a 32-month sentence for a pair of gun charges in Riverside County. He was also charged with possessing a firearm in Los Angeles County, although he had already pled guilty and was anticipating a 2-year sentence. If state prison is more dangerous than the prison he is now, why would the Canadian rapper ask to be transferred? It turns out that even before his sentencing, he was already receiving harsh treatment, which could be likened to that of a murderer. Mrs. Dixon noted that merely because he is well known, the sheriff has decided that Mr. Peterson is of such great threat that he must be confined in the same manner as those convicted of serial charges and murder. Before all this had transpired, Tory had taken to his social media to assure his fans that he was doing well and that he was keeping his hopes up. In the Instagram post, he said, "I want y'all to know that I haven't lost my faith in God and that I'm in high spirits. I'm praying for the best and remain confident that God will bring me through this. I have spent the last 7 months rehabilitating my mind, my body, and my soul. Though I came to jail a good person, I will leave as a great person." Despite the positive vibes in his posts, Tory seemed to be going through a lot in jail. If other rappers' accounts in jail are anything to go by, Tory is in for a rough time. Fellow rapper YNW Melly got his fair share of prison horrors that led him to speaking out on social media. The rapper, who is behind bars for allegedly shooting his 2 best friends and staging a drive-by, took to the internet to tell the world what he was going through. "As of this moment today, I'm officially in fear of my life," he began. A new captain named Hubert and XO Jenkins have taken over the jail for 2 weeks now and have handed out even harsher punishments for me than the previous ones in place. Since December 1st, I have been moved and housed on a unit that holds 24 inmates at once. Turns out the rapper was being denied phone privileges while his every move was being monitored on camera. I am the only inmate being housed on the vacant unit, with no phone privilege, no television, and no access to a newspaper. They are watching my every move on camera, making sure I don't use the phone to tell the world how I'm being mistreated, discriminated, threatened physically, harassed. When I come out of my cell for the 1 hour a day, all other inmates in the adjoining dorms must go back in their cell. I am being subjected to cruel and unusual treatment at the hands of deputies and high-ranking staff of the Broward Sheriff's Office. Well, if Melly's words are anything to go by, Tory's troubles have just begun. We can only hope that he is treated fairly and humanely for the time that he will be locked up. Goodbye forever. After several continuances, delays, postponements, and motions filed, the 3-year-long saga of Tory Lanez versus Megan Thee Stallion came to a close with the Canadian rapper being sentenced to 10 years behind bars. Prosecutors had previously demanded that Tory be sentenced to 13 years in prison, alongside being deported to his native country, Canada. On the other hand, the rapper's attorney had called for probation and a residential substance abuse program to help with Tory's alcoholism, which is believed to have led to his violent actions. Is this goodbye forever? Will this sentence ruin Tory's career, or will he be able to bounce back after a decade away from the scene? Well, some good news came his way when the deputy DA stated that under California state law, legally, if he showed good behavior, he wouldn't serve the full sentence. Instead, he will be released after serving 85% of it. This means that Tory Lanez has the opportunity to cut his sentence short and should only spend 8.5 years in prison. Fellow rapper, Boozy Badass, spoke shortly after the sentence was passed about how lucky Tory was. According to him, he will be out in no time. If Tory had been in Louisiana, he would have received at least 40 years, according to the rapper. I think he came out good, bro. I think he'll only do 5. That's state time. In Louisiana, that nigga would have did 40. A crime on a woman, highly televised, 40 nigga. No cap, nigga, he said on his Instagram live. He lucky he wasn't in Louisiana, boy. I think state time, you don't do nothing but half. 5 years. He'll do 3 years, a little paper. He'll be back out, stronger than ever. While 10 years is a lot of time wasted behind bars, Tory is lucky as other rap stars have found themselves locked for far much longer. One example is Tamor Trevon, alias Tay-K, who was sentenced to 55 years in prison. What did the 23-year-old do to deserve such a harsh sentence? Back in 2016, Tay-K's rap group Daytona Boys broke up, forcing Tay-K to go solo. However, things didn't pan out the way he expected, and soon he turned to crime. On July 26, 2016, Tay-K and 6 of his friends would make a decision that would see them spend a better part of their lives behind bars. They hatched a plan to rob 17-year-old Zachary Belote of drugs and money. That night, things didn't go as planned, as Ethan Walker, a known drug dealer in Mansfield, Texas, was fatally shot as the robbers ran out the front door. Tay-K was interrogated for 2 hours, where he initially denied involvement in the home invasion. However, he later acknowledged that he went to the Mansfield house but didn't go inside. After much back and forth with detectives, he eventually admitted he had come into the home and looked for drugs under a couch, but left the house after not finding any. Since Tay-K was only 16 years old, he was placed in juvenile detention, but was later held under house arrest. Tay-K hadn't been free in almost 7 months. He had been kept in juvenile detention for nearly 5 months before being released on home arrest for 3 months. He ultimately snapped on March 27, 2017, only days before a certification hearing in his case. Fed up with being locked up at home, Tay-K and another co-defendant talked on the phone about running away. The young teenagers had made a choice. Tay-K would broadcast their decision to the world via social media. The rapper took to Twitter, posting, "Fuck this house arrest 12, they gon' have to catch me on hood." With that, the two removed their ankle monitors and fled to San Antonio from their houses. The U.S. Marshal's Office issued images of the rapper, describing him as a violent fugitive and asking for the public's assistance in locating him. With the fugitives needing money to survive while on the run, they turned to robbing people. Their first victim was 23-year-old Mark Anthony Saldivar. The goal was to set up a photo shoot and rob the photographer, then sell the equipment and earn enough money to live on. The robbery, however, did not go as planned. The group went to a mall for the photo shoot after picking up Mark. Tay-K and one of the other teens pulled out weapons and stole Mark's photography equipment from his backpack while they were in the car. They then pistol whipped the photographer as he tried to fight back. They were able to get him out of the vehicle. Mark, on the other hand, did not give up. He tried to climb back into the car as the gang drove away and eventually got on the hood. The driver was forced to park at a Chick-fil-A lot. According to sources, Tay-K leaned out the window and fatally shot the photographer. The group then accelerated away, leaving Mark for dead. The photographer died as a result of his gunshot wound. home. The young rapper would continue his robbing spree, with his next victim being 65-year-old Oni Skip Pepe.
A 65-year-old man is out of the hospital and recovering at home tonight after being robbed and beaten in an Arlington park.
Skip Pepe says he was walking in Cravens Park 2 weeks ago in the middle of the day when a young man pulled a gun on him. Pepe says the man quickly turned violent.
Tay-K leapt into action in broad daylight and went after Pepe, who appeared to be an easy target. When he came up to the old guy, he demanded his wallet. Pepe initially thought the young teen was joking. Tay-K, on the other hand, pulled out a revolver and shoved it in his face to show that he was for real.
Hand me your wallet. The second time it was, I have a gun. Hand me your wallet.
Terrified, Pepe dashed to the road, waving for passing cars to stop and assist. Tay-K chased after the old man and struck him in the head with his gun, knocking him unconscious. He grabbed his wallet and ran. Pepe fortunately survived. The rapper's last stunt before his arrest was the most daring. 3 days prior to his arrest, he wrote and recorded a track. The music video for the song was also filmed in 3 days. The song, The Race, precisely portrayed his current situation and strangely helped Tay-K become a star as it peaked at number 44 on the Billboard Hot 100. As Tay-K and his friends enjoyed the music video before putting it out, the cops busted into the house and arrested Tay-K without any resistance. As he was being taken into custody, one of his affiliates posted a link to the song on Tay-K's Twitter page with the caption, "Feds can't hold me back, here it go." As you can see, Tay-K did things more atrocious than Tory and fully deserves his 55 years behind bars. However, it will be interesting to see whether Boosie's prediction will come to pass. Will the rapper do less time? We can only wait and see.